I have a very nostalgic story for you.
Ooh.
My mom was that kid that dreamed of getting a pony as a child. And her dreams came true in her mid-30s when we moved out to a small farm in rural Northeast Ohio. And with 3 acres to mow, my dad jumped at the idea of getting a natural lawnmower. And most weekends you could find him outside putting up the fence. Charlie was our first horse. He was an Appaloosa with only one eye. He was an exceptional escape artist, a trickster, and I learned a lot from Charlie. Charlie spent most of his days, that's what I was gonna say, he's a great problem solver. Charlie spent most of his days learning how to pick locks and breaking out of the fence to enjoy apples at the apple tree that was just beyond the fence. Upon solving this puzzle, he would run back and forth in front of the house, letting people know he got out. And then once everyone noticed, he continued onto the apple tree to enjoy his spoils. So as a result of this, my first lesson I learned from Charlie was how to catch a loose horse. But I also learned how to groom, care for, and ride a horse. And Charlie taught me 2 very important life lessons that I want to share with you all today. For those of you who have never ridden a horse, there's a lot of preparation that goes into this activity. You start with grooming, which includes picking the horse hoof out and brushing. You then place the saddle pad on the back of the horse right behind the withers. Then place the saddle on, cinch up the girth, put the bridle on, and voila, your horse is ready to be ridden. While this may all sound very simple and straightforward, Charlie, like most horses, really made you work for it. After coaxing him to allow you to pick his hoof out as you're picking it out, Charlie would love to lean on you. And so much of your time was spent pushing him and elbowing him and yelling at him to stop. Charlie also was a firm believer in the horse code of saddling. You see, at that very moment, you take the saddle, put it on the back of the horse, they blow up their belly with air. And I have seen many creative solutions to this. But what I always opted to do was move on, put the bridle on the horse, walk the horse out to the corral. And within that time, they would have let out enough air. You have an opportunity to do one final cinch to get that saddle nice and tight before you mount and continue to ride. One afternoon, I went through this ceremony of preparing Charlie to go out for a nice ride around the pasture. And as I was riding around the pasture, he was trotting along, I realized that I may have missed a step. You see, with every step that Charlie took, the saddle started to slip until I was on the ground. Many bad things can happen when I was in this state. I had one foot awkwardly in the saddle, laying under the horse. But what happened here was where Charlie taught me these 2 very important life lessons. The first is when you're working with someone who may be learning something new, stop. Be patient with them and wait. There are many things Charlie could have done. He could have continued walking along and just dragged me. He could have gotten angry, spooked, started kicking at me. He could have bit me, but what he did was he just stopped. He turned around, possibly laughed a little, and waited for me to figure it out. The next lesson he taught me was that when you make a mistake, recognize it. Go ahead and figure out what you did wrong, get up, dust yourself off. And that's what I did. I dusted myself off. I got my foot out of the stirrup, got back up, cinched it, went back on for a ride. Because honestly, I was a little embarrassed. I could have done that cautionary. Did anyone see me? So when you're working with folks that are learning something new, and when you're make a mistake, as they will, have many ways to react to this mistake. You can cause some more chaos, put more stress on the situation. You can continue on because clearly you know what you're doing. Let them figure it out. You can get angry and yell at them, but I encourage you not to. Be like Charlie and stop. Wait. Patient. Let them figure it out, fix their mistake, and continue on. As I've shared with you today, I've learned a lot of things from Charlie. He was a very great addition to our family. And I encourage all of you as you leave today to be a little like Charlie. Be funny. Be a patient teacher. Be a wise old horse and a great problem solver. When you're working with others, stop. Be patient and wait for them. And when you make a mistake, don't let it deter you. Fix it. Move on and continue to enjoy your life. That, of course, I mean.